Yeah, 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 yeah. In the days of old, 5 elements were known. MCing, DJing, graffiti had grown. B-boy and knowledge, the pillars of the game. But a 6th emerged, adding to the flame. Comics and hip-hop, a fusion so tight. Visual storytelling, lyrics that ignite. From the pages to the beats, a seamless blend. The 6th element, where 2 worlds transcend.
Welcome to the 6th Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu guiding the way, bringing you the culture every day. Welcome to the 6th Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu.
What's good, y'all? 6th Element Collectibles. Welcome to the show, to the first show ever of our new channel with our new title and our new logo and our new name. But YouTube ain't letting us update it for some reason, but you can see it here. It is now 6th Element Collectibles. And welcome to that joint, because we got a good show tonight, man. Ain't no big major screamy mimi thumbnails. Corey, add your salute. Hey, Corey. He said he was cooking on the audio. What does it sound like? We air frying nuggets over here. We get in. Stu and Reno, what up, Corey? Corey, salute. Corey, if you check your email, you should have a link in there. Slade, you should too. Providing we got your emails right. Slade, peace. Yeah, y'all should have some emails right now that say something to the effect of subject like 6th Element collectibles with the date and all of that. But yeah, if you want to hop on, we can have a little chit chat after and stuff. But yeah, man, we got a good show, man. It's a crazy good show though. As always, we're still going to be bringing you the best in comic book news, film news, video game news, toy collectibles, all that good stuff, all the same great stuff with a brand new package. And man, let's we got Spider-Man brand new day, rumored new castings for that, the new Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. We got some some sneaks and teases from possible comic adaptations that they might be doing. Bad news about Blade. Bad news about that. Maybe some good news about Iron Fist. Daredevil Born Again finally beat the Netflix series at its biggest selling point, and we'll get into that too. But yeah, man, Channing Tatum's Gambit MCU movie return confirmed. That's happening now. Yeah, there's a lot going on, a whole lot going on with Marvel, but with Star Wars too. We've got a lot of new stuff about Andor. I'm really, really, really excited for the new Tales of the Underworld. That shit's gonna be crazy. We're gonna show you a little bit of that trailer too in a minute. James Gunn's Superman has had some actual outside test screenings from some actual people that aren't within the, from the set, basically. And reviews are mixed, but I think I suspect I know why. Giancarlo Esposito wants to join the DCU too as an iconic Batman villain. We'll get into that as well. On the toys and collectible side, man, we got some great new pre-orders coming up for some shit that we've been talking about. The Super Friends, the Legion of Doom, all that good stuff. We got dates, we got times. Yes. And then, wow, what else? Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner is not only going to be in the DCU Superman, he's going to be in the Lantern show. We're going to get into that. Supergirl, we got some new looks at the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie. It's just a lot of great shit, man. We're going to bust it all up. Have a good time. Stu Dog, what's good with you, man? Talk to me, baby.
Sure. I'm excited about all the news. Excited about all the news, especially excited about listening to what they had to say about the new suit. Because I'm hyped for Superman. I really am. I'm hyped because Superman's gonna kick it off. But I'm hyped. I just want to hear what other people had to say, because especially people that aren't hardcore fans like us. Because I know one thing: if they kind of are like with it, that means I'm gonna love it. That means if they're like with it, then I'm gonna love it. They're okay with it, I'm gonna love it. So I need to hear what they had to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I see it. If it's the reasons that people didn't like it are reasons I would like it, and the reasons that people liked it are reasons that I would like it. So I'm good. Like I'm good all the way. I'm straight. I think it's gonna be great. It's a James Gunn movie, that's for sure. So don't be like, oh, there's comedy. Yeah, it's James Gunn. Like you know how he gets down. But that does not mean that it's going to be whack by any means. Not even in the slightest. No, 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 sir. People think, oh, funny Superman movie. That's weird. Well, there's been comedy of some sort in all the Superman movies of some one way or another. But
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
the way he
yeah.
does
The
comedy, I
Lex
think,
Luthor.
yeah, and the way he does comedy too, it's like
Yeah,
it's in a way that it fits within action movies with comedy. That's James Gunn's fucking bag. Like that's what he excels in. So you got the right man for the job, you ask me. So I can't wait. Real quick though, just a little glizzy glide. We're gonna slide across the Nintendo Switch 2 because that just happened. Everybody's kind of hype about the product. Really excited that it looks great and all that. Some people not too happy about the price, which I understand, but there's a lot of good features. There's a lot of good stuff going on with it.
that's
A lot of,
that's Nintendo. Yeah,
that's Nintendo, baby. And
it's
it's
Nintendo.
what it is. But everything that's been announced basically about the Switch, including a new open world Mario Kart game that's coming out the same day. It arrives on June 5th, the
Mm.
day after my birthday. So this will be a good birthday present to me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not buying a
Mm.
Switch 2 because I'm buying one for my son. So it works out. Mighty Rex,
You
what
just
up?
play his. Skip it.
Yeah, just play his. Right.
And you got a
He's
lot
got
of
the
and you got a lot
PS5.
of people too, Reno, that are yeah. You got a lot of people too that are gonna be on the fence with it because they Nintendo did I think they're trying to straddle the fence. The Switch is a very, very, very popular system and they have a lot of people that own Switches. So a lot of them are gonna be like for $400 and some odd dollars and already got one. That's kind of playing these other like unless it's something that they got to play on the Switch too, it's not going to take off as fast as the Switch one did.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
you know, unless you just want a hardware upgrade. You need a hardware upgrade, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But if you really
Every
don't care about the hardware upgrade, stick with your Switch.
everything
I need
announced.
a hardware upgrade, so I'm going to get it too.
Yeah. Yeah, everything announced, including the new Mario Kart game, new Switch features, and more. We'll do a quick thing, and we'll get into our comic and collectibles goodness. After months of anticipation, years of speculation, Nintendo's finally. And listen, I love here they show you that it's a little bit bigger than the original Switch. I think bigger and it's nicely bigger. I like the new size. It says here that we will finally know when the console will be available. It's June 5th, 2025. It'll cost 450 smackaroonies.
Mm.
450 dollarinis. Yes, sir. Pre-orders can start on April
And
9th,
June, and
though. If you don't get your pre-order, you're probably not
it's
gonna get
next
one
week.
on launch. Yeah. Yeah. Switch 2 hardware, Switch 2
And you're also
console.
going to need a new. You're also going to need a new SD card. Don't
Switch
forget
2
to tell them
console
that.
is the same thickness but has a
Also going to
much
need a new
larger
SD card.
display, 7.9 inches, 1080p resolution versus the 6.2 720p screen. So the original or Switch rather was a 720p. This bad boy here is 1080p, 120 frames per second, which is insane. Beautiful experience there. It's an LCD display rather than the OLED, and supports HDR at least. Now, I just want to say, I think this was a huge missed opportunity on Nintendo's part. They should have called this motherfucker the NES 2. I think, and hear me out, NES is what started it all. And here they are at the peak, the culmination, the peak of their Nintendo of their technology. So this is like full circle. Instead of calling it Switch 2, they could have called that bitch the NES 2. Oh, that would have been cool. Nice throwback. But I'm a nostalgia guy. As expected, the new Joy-Con controllers attach magnetically instead of sliding in and being able to break, and have a much bigger SL and RSR buttons for you playing a single Joy-Con. They also double as mice, mices. So you can do, mouse scoping and all that good shit. The built-in stand is definitely much bigger than the old Switch. You've got 2 USB-C ports on the console as well. Nintendo also highlighted 3D audio when using the compatible headphones, and the speakers on the console should be left a lot better as well. Itself should be a lot better as well. The console has 256 gigs of bytes of storage, far surpassing the 32 gigabytes of the original model. I mean, this is a huge jump, guys. This is a 220 gig jump. And the Switch 2 dock outputs up to 4K with compatible games. Of course, the dock is a built-in fan to keep things cool, and that's actually a really dope feature. Unfortunately, I know that this thing has a shorter battery life than the original, which they probably won't say on here. But Switch 2 is using similar game cards to the original Switch, but Nintendo notes that they are faster, and you'll have to use, like Stu Dog said, micro SD express cards for extra storage this time, though. Standard micro SD ones won't be compatible with new hardware. So as far as backwards compatibility, that's going to be with digital only. Now, the C button that we were all wondering, what the fuck is the C button going to be? There's going to be a C button. What is that? The cunt button? What is this? To activate game chat. It's a chat button. All right, game chat. That's their new online deal, and it also has GL and GR buttons on the back that you can assign any specification. Also a headphone jack too. Duh, like that's a no-brainer. A lot of this stuff should have came out on the first console. I think they've been working on the Switch 2 this whole fucking time, and they just put out the Switch 1 as like a let's hold them over and give them this little shit that we can do while we working on the masterpiece, which this clearly is. Now, the original Switch promised to
People complained about the Switch One had
yeah.
no. They complained about it having no voice chat. Like that was like one of the
Huh.
biggest things people complained about. Hopefully they get rid of the friend codes. That's another thing people complain about.
Yeah.
Is the Nintendo friend codes, because the friend code is like this long ass code. Like if I want to play with Reno on his Switch, he has to find my friend code and put this long code in. And since they don't have chat, he would have to call me on the phone and then get me to put in this long code just to connect to my Switch so we could play together.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So everybody's the other
All the
complaint was
technology they got.
the other complaint. Yeah. Their people's biggest complaint was no chat, the friend codes, and not being able to, share the games locally with each other like this one does. So you had to have a Wi-Fi connection and things like that. But Samsung, you can share things locally over a damn cell phone, but you can't share locally over a Nintendo Switch. So looks like they fixed those
Yep.
problems.
Yep.
But
Yep.
we'll see.
And
But we'll see how good it works.
well, it also has with that chat, see video, voice and video chat. The first new feature Nintendo highlighted on its updated Joy-Con controllers was the C button. The C button lets you enter the new game chat features. You can voice chat while playing using a built-in microphone, even when the console is docked. And it's the first time that Nintendo system has had voice chat. You can also share your game screens with friends as you play as well. For example, in Mario Kart, this gives you a more of a feel like you're all playing connected to a TV, even though you're remote, because you can see everything that your friends are doing as well. Which is a big help in this type of game, obviously. And the game chat screen features work even if you're all playing different games too. So you can just get a group together and hang out while playing different titles. There's also a Switch 2 camera that enables video chat and lets you shows you on screen while you're playing. And these features require Nintendo Switch Online subscription, but Nintendo will offer it for free to everyone until March 31st, 2026. So you better get this shit. Mario Kart World looks incredible. If you're a Mario Kart fan like Stu Dog and it's your favorite game, you're probably shitting in your pants. This thing looks amazing. It's open world. You're riding around like doing skateboard style grinds on the rails, doing wall jumps, all kinds of new shit. I mean, it looks incredible. I mean, as a Mario Kart aficionado, Stu, how'd you like it?
Loved it. Um, I think it's a step forward for Nintendo. They fixed a lot of the things that people complained about in the Switch One.
I mean, Mario Kart.
The Switch Two.
Mario Kart.
Oh, Mario Kart,
Yeah, the
bruh.
new open world Mario Kart.
My only complaint is the open. My only complaint is the open world.
Oh, you don't like that?
And I
It's
know
open
why they
world.
did it. I'm gonna
You don't like that?
tell you why. Oh, I got
Okay.
you. I got you. I'm gonna tell you why. I got you. Okay. Everybody knows Grand Theft Auto, right?
Right.
What is the one? And a lot of,
It's more like a
for
Need
some
for
reason, a lot
Speed
of young
open world.
kids love playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it looked to me, it was like, because like they were at one point they were saying, "Oh, you can cruise around with your friends." When my youngest son would play Grand Theft Auto, that's all him and his friends did. They would all get in
Yeah.
the same car and just drive around the city. Like,
Oh.
I think that the driving aspect of it, of being able to leave the track, and just be able to just drive around and just do absolutely nothing and hang out,
No, I
that's
think you still
appealing
gotta
to
I think you still
the
gotta
younger
race.
generation because they get on there and do that.
I think you gotta I think the open world
I
is
don't
like
know,
so
Reno. I
you
think
can
that's
go
like
from track
I think
to
it's an
track.
open world mode.
Yeah, but it's so you can go from track to track
Or
seamlessly.
maybe you
You
could,
can just
or
drive
maybe
to the
you.
next track.
Oh, so you
Or
race. All right, so you race.
now listen, there's like a challenge where I
So
know
so
for
all right. So you
one
saying maybe
example,
you race.
there's a challenge, one example where you got to race the track and then you have to travel to the other track, to this other track and do that track. Like it's a whole like a challenge. So you're like going all over the world doing different races and different tracks. My thing was like, how you gonna do laps? But I think it's more of like an interstate system. Like you drive on the interstate, you get off, you do your track, you hop back on the I and go to the next track, that kind of thing. I don't think it's like gonna be just guys driving around like bumper cars bashing each other. I think it's still gonna be race oriented, you know? Like it'll be open world, but you still gotta be racing
Nah, I
though.
think it's gonna be people hanging out.
Ah,
I think I think it's gonna be like Grand Theft Auto. I think
I
it's
don't
gonna be
think
like
so.
that. And then if you want to get in a race, you just get in a race like remember how
Yeah.
Need for Speed Most Wanted was? You could just
Yeah.
drive around and then if you wanted, you could just like you flash your lights at somebody and then they start the race. And
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be something like that.
Maybe, but I mean, watch
And
they did a pretty good presentation of it, I think, and it did not come across that way at all. Like it definitely looks like it's just racing, and they're incorporating the open world in a way, but it's like if you're in the open world, it's part of a race in a way. Like that's kind of how they framed it, but they wouldn't be able to just have a race going on and people are just like, "Oh, I'm just fucking around driving across the road." Like I don't think that's going to happen. You know what I mean? That would just fuck up racing. No one would be able to do
oh
racing.
no, I don't think that's I don't think that's gonna happen at all. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you'll be able to
Like you
just leave
said,
the
like
track,
Need for
race,
Speed, I think. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be like Need for
just
Speed.
drive around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I want to race you, yeah, you flash your lights and then you can race you go to the track, flash your lights, you can race. But the
Yeah.
open world concept is something that a lot of people ask for. I don't know if we've ever asked for it in Mario Kart,
Right.
but putting it in there is gonna separate this Mario Kart from the rest.
Make it
It's,
very
like
weird.
a lot by a lot because
Yeah.
Mario, Mario Kart's usually the same thing, and it's been the same format since 2000
Yeah. Yeah, I
or
know.
maybe
I
even
know.
earlier,
I know. I know.
95.
Well, there's some other
So
great
this
games
is
too.
this is different.
Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. There's a new title called Dragon Drive that uses the Switch 2 mouse controls. It looks like an extreme wheelchair sporting event. Hades 2, Street Fighter 6, Split Fiction, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, Hitman World Assassination, and Demon Machina. Okay, cool. A little Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, blah blah blah. What I'm talking about is this Dusk Bloods that's coming out in 2026.
Yeah, Dust
And
Bus looks good,
they
and it
say
looks good.
it feels a lot like Bloodborne at first glance, and there's a really good reason for that. The guys that made Bloodborne, they weren't like whoever I think it was Sony, whoever it was like it's exclusive, they wouldn't let them take Bloodborne and put it on Nintendo or do anything like that. So they literally created a whole new game from the ground up. It's a completely new game, new theme, everything. But it's it it would scratch your Bloodborne itch. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? It looks, it feels, it's Bloodborne-y. It's
Mm.
there's guns. You know what I mean? Like it's like in Bloodborne. It's not like, hella guns.
Mm.
It's just like
And Bloodborne was
Elden
good.
Ring with like a pistol. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's Bloodborne. It's basically Bloodborne, but new and way better looking and way and very cool and all kinds of cool character shit. That's what I'm really excited about. And then of course there's this 3D third person Donkey Kong game where you are from behind Donkey Kong, like going forward. That shit's crazy. Third person over the shoulder view, not over the shoulder, just third person view. My favorite way to play a game. And so that's gonna be really cool. It looks very, Donkey Kongy. It's cartoony. It's got its Nintendo vibe. A lot of cool shit going on with the Switch 2 games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Those titles have improved resolutions and frame rates, as well as new features that'll show a companion smartphone app. And of course, those will probably cost money. Kirby, Forgotten Land, blah, blah, blah. What do we got? Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. But yeah, it is going to be $450. Is that too expensive? It's an expensive piece. It's an expensive piece of hardware, but it might be justified. It, it's not a
Over
PlayStation
time.
5, hardware wise, it doesn't have that kind of power either. So people are like, what? But no, it's the portability, it's all the features, it's the space on it with, I mean, the handheldness, it's high tech shit. It's very high tech shit. There's Let's see. Nvidia now has mid-range GPUs selling for upwards of $600 just for a GPU. And, so I don't think it's insane. I think it's very expensive, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. What I think is a fucking travesty is the game prices. Get ready to pay, kids, $80 for games like Mario Kart and shit like that. Just 80 fucking dollars a game. If you want the physical game, you're gonna pay 90. Oh yeah, that was for digital. Yes, you're gonna pay $90 for physical Switch 2 games, guys. So that's an issue. I think we should all boycott that shit. But hey, ain't nobody gonna boycott that shit. They're gonna sell the fuck out day one.
Yeah. And if you can't get one in your local retailer, head on over to Scalpers Island and pay $1,000 for one,
And get scalped.
and you should
Get
be
your
good.
get your whole wig torn
Like
back.
a like a mofo.
Get your whole wig piece peeled off.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out, man, to JC Fresh. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Thank y'all for coming. EGC, peace, peace, salute, salute. Norin Rad in the building. Everybody's here chilling. Slade Mighty Rack said GTA still use checkpoints to keep on track. Slade said I'm impressed by Nintendo right now. I gotta agree, man. Yeah, that's one thing about the Mario Kart that's gonna be crazy. 20 some fucking players on the race, like 25 places. Like
Yeah.
instead of just place 7 is the last, like it's gonna be like you might be 24th place and shit. That's pretty cool.
That's kind of
Yeah,
cool because Mario Kart is brutal, bro. When you on there and you play, listen, I don't care what nobody say, man. You play with them, you play with that younger crowd, man. They are brutal on Mario Kart, man.
oh, bro.
So 25 people, I don't see how anybody's going. It's going to be hard to stay in first place
Yeah,
if it goes the way they go with just. I think the most you can get on there now is like 4. Actually,
yeah.
well,
It's
if you go online, you can get a whole race. You can get like 8. You get
but
8 in the whole race if you go.
yeah. I mean, imagine the challenge. You're gonna have to be really good to get first place now. I mean, to beat
You got to be really
25 people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You got to be super good because they are brutal. They get on
Brutality.
there, they tear it up, man. They hit you with. I mean, you're gonna be constantly getting hit with power ups. It's gonna be. It's gonna
Yep.
be. Listen, though,
Yep.
I'm gonna have
All
some
kinds of
long
shit.
nights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's gonna be all kinds. Somebody get the blue turtle shell. And if you're in the last one and you throw that blue turtle shell, it hits everybody going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So they had showed one where Toad was like super big driving on the track, just running people over. I was like, damn. So it's gonna be real interesting to see what you can and can't do.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
power up wise. I'm looking
Oh
forward
yeah.
to it.
Oh yes, sir. Um, let me see something here. Okay, so backward compatibility for the Switch 2. More than 180 Switch games may not play properly. That's pretty
That's a lot.
that's a
That's a
big
hefty
chunk.
number.
That's a
Yeah, that's a big
huge
chunk.
chunk.
Yeah, that'd be a huge hit to your library, man. If you have that many games.
It says here, they confirm. It says, "Will the Switch 2 be back compatible with physical games, and digital Switch games?" So basically, what I'm thinking is, it's not going to be. I mean, it's not going to be backwards compatible with any physical games, but some of the digital
The
games.
digital games.
Right.
And
Let me see what it says though. It says yes. Nintendo confirmed this April 2nd Nintendo Direct that the Switch 2 will support both physical and digital copies of Switch games. The size of the cartridge isn't changing. It's just that the game cards for the Switch 2 will be red, opposed to the gray ones for the original Switch. They also have much faster data reading speeds than the old ones. It's use hardware designed for the Switch 2 and Nintendo Direct. How will Switch 2 compatibility work? Switch 2 doesn't contain any hardware from the original Switch. Nintendo isn't relying on software for emulation or backward compatibility either. Instead, the company's solution falls somewhere between a software emulator and hardware compatibility. The Switch 2 director asked the developers process converting game data for Switch to run on Switch 2 is performed on a real-time basis, as the data is read in, which makes it sound similar to the way Proton gets Windows PC games to run on a Linux-based Steam Deck. Very Steam Decky here. A lot of Steam Deck similarities. This allows for adding the Switch 2 features such as game chat support. The Switch games played via backward compatibility. Dota added, "We believe there are many things we can do, such as making Switch games compatible with Game Share through free updates, as well as leveraging Switch 2's processing power to enable games to run higher resolution with a smoother frame rate." Um, so in some games, like they already said, Zelda is going to be a little bit updated with a little bit better like frame rate, shit like that. So
yeah,
it's definitely gonna the Switch 2 will run Switch games better. Well, Nintendo has not indicated that the Switch 2 will provide the across-the-board improvements to graphics when performance running, which it appears that it'll be up to developers and publishers to issue patches to deliver these upgrades. So, Super Mario Odyssey,
mm,
Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom are the games in question that run the gamut. Free updates to improve playability on the Switch 2. Upgrade
that's that's
pack.
that's that's not good, man. That's
It's
not
not
good.
good. It's not good.
No, it's not good.
They have upgrade packs. They said at this point, the company's announced upgrade packs for 6 games. You get 6 games you get from your old Switch that you can bring over. You got Kirby the Forgotten Land. Hope you play that. I don't. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, bangers. Super Mario Jamboree Party. What the fuck? And then Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, decent. Pokemon Legends Z to A. That's going to be real popular. Both of which haven't come out yet. They come out this year at some point. Details varying greatly depending on the game. For the new Pokemon game, it is, yes, improved performance with a higher frame rate and resolution. Both of the Zelda upgrades will deliver that, along with faster load times, HDR, and support for the new Zelda Notes service. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will be playable on Switch 2 with the mouse controls, thanks to the new Joy-Con mouse joints. Limited testing with each game to see if it. Well, I mean, backward compatibility, basically, it's hit or miss. It's gonna be on some. It's not gonna be on everything. It's gonna be, you know,
Yeah, on day one. But
hit or miss.
trust me, they'll work. They're gonna work on the patch. They're gonna fix it. But me personally, I think that's not good business because at the end
Right.
of the day, if you're saying a lot of people want backwards compatibility because you come out with these new systems, you're like, damn, I still want to play my old games. But
Yes.
I don't want to, if I got a new system that has all these
Right.
new bells and whistles, it should make
Yeah.
my games look better and I should be able to play my older games and they just look better. But
Right.
if Nintendo is not going to support itself, how can they expect everybody else to support it too? So you should have backwards compatibility. It should be working fine. What if those what do you say, 180 titles? What if
Yeah.
I what if I had 180 Switch games and they were all those 180 titles that
And you
don't boot
can't
up correctly on the new one. So
you
it's
can't
like
play
useless
man
for
one.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just say all 180 of my titles are on the list. I got 180 titles that I can't use my Switch too. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's
Nope.
ridiculous.
Nope.
Nintendo, get it
Well,
together.
Switch Nintendo's doing big things. They're making big moves, doing big shit, and so are we. So are we doing big things here at the Sixth Element Collectibles. We got so one of the ways that we're going to be changing the channel or upgrading it, updating it, making it better and smoother and just all around more efficient is that we're going to have what do you call segments where we will, like, for example, let's say we're going to do we're gonna talk about Marvel live action movies. We're gonna go bow, and it's gonna say, "This is time. We're doing the live action. We're gonna talk about Marvel fucking movies right now. Bing, bing, bing. We talk about Marvel movies. Okay, we're done talking about Marvel. Boom. We're gonna talk about Marvel comics. What's going on in Marvel comics today? Boom, bing, bing. We're gonna talk about boom. What's going on with Marvel Legends, toys, collectibles, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna do that again for DC. We're gonna do that for whatever we're doing that day. Star Wars, GI Joe, whatever it is. That sounds dope, right? So,
Yeah.
so right now, and again, this is all coming down the pipe. Right now, though, we're gonna jump into the DC segment, the
Mm,
DC section, because Stu Dog wants to know about them Superman reactions and test screening because we had a footage release and all that. Well, they actually showed the whole movie. What am I talking about? So they showed the whole movie uh to many reactions, and apparently the reactions are mixed, but a lot of them are really good. A lot of them, but they're very specific. So, like, for example, according to Jeff Snyder on last night's episode of the Hot Mic, or on was the other night, DC James Gunn's DCU reboot is going to have a massive cameo. He didn't say much, but he considers to be a spoiler. But we have a little bit more to go on. We'll let you know. But so the test screening was reportedly held for Superman Wednesday night, right? So, and once again, we're hearing mixed reports. Some saying that they loved the movie, others said they didn't
mm,
like what they saw at all. Not exactly a huge surprise. Everyone's not going to love it. Some people are going to just, oh, this isn't for me at all. At the end of the day, different groups of people, they're going to have different reactions to every film that they watch. But it's always nice to hear that something, so many fans are looking forward to see is getting universal praise. That'd be great and all, but these test screenings aren't always the best indicator of what to expect. And I'll tell you why, bro. It's because when you go to the movies to see the Superman movie, you are a
mm,
Superman fan. You want to go see that. You're paying to go. Let's go see the Superman movie, right? You set out to go do that, and you go see the Superman movie because you want to see the Superman movie. The difference with the test screenings is these aren't people that necessarily want to see a Superman movie. They just gather a bunch of random people and show them the movie. So that's
mm.
why, of course, there's going to be a bunch of people going, well, yeah, this is I'm not interested in this at all.
Right.
But let's show it to a bunch of people that chose to go see a Superman movie and see what they say then. That's when I'll be like, "Oh, okay, this is," cuz right now a test screening, it's really just for the studio to see how wide of a net they've cast and how many casual fans and randos they're going to pull in.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? Um so
And they're gonna pull them in.
and they're going to pull them in. They're going to pull them in. That's for a fact.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
see here.
Now,
The
if we now the one thing about it too is this Superman movie has like a new Superman. The cast is different. James, he's coming in from a different approach
Right.
than what most casual fans are used to because they're
Yeah.
used to that little bit of origin story,
Yeah,
and
and
then
they're
you get
used
the
to the Richard
villain, and
Donner and everything. Dun, 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 dun.
yeah,
Superman.
he's
That's
taking
not
a way
James Gunn.
different approach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not James Gunn.
we'll probably see more Superman in this movie than we've seen Daredevil and in the new TV series.
Yeah. I mean, so James Gunn recently told us just now how this is that Superman basically sets the tone for the DCU, and this is 100% a James Gunn movie in every sense of it. Like Creature Commandos kind of gave us a glimpse of of the DCU in a way, a little bit. It's animated, doesn't really. A lot of people are like, a lot of people don't even watch it. Some people don't watch animation, right? And so for the most part, wasn't that different tonally from like the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker or anything else that we've seen from Gunn in the past. The main thing those films and TV shows have in common is that they're all helmed by James Gunn. Does that mean that Superman is going to have that same vibe? And like, while there's a lot of recurring themes, through Gunn's like DC and Marvel work, you have Guardians, Suicide Squad. They're not the same. Guardians is not the Suicide Squad, very different, but they have the Gunn vibe in a way. And so this reboot is bound to feel and also vastly different. Given who the character lead is, it's still a Superman movie at the end of the day. So Gunn says, I think it's only setting the tone as far as that is 100% a James Gunn movie, right? That's what he's saying. He's saying that's the kind of tone you're going to, when you see Superman, you're like, that's a James Gunn movie, he said. So, and what he said, quote, and what I want with the future film is for them to be the same, the future films in the DCU. Sorry, let me read this again. And what I want with the future films is for them to be the same, not James Gunn movies. But when I talked to Craig Gillespie, who's doing Supergirl, I said, I don't want all these movies to be the same. So he said, what I love about DC Comics is that you can read a story like The Dark Knight, which is tonally very different because of its artist and writer than Superman for All Seasons, than All-Star Superman, than Batman Long Halloween. These are all beautiful stories within the same world, but completely different. And that's what I think is exciting. And end quote. And so like that brings us back to what we've been saying about how the DCU is going to be more like comics, and it's going to be more for comic fans than the MCU ever was. The MCU's always been for the casual audience. They're just using comic characters to make blockbuster films for the casual audience. Whereas Gunn is more like he's a comic nerd, he's a comic head, whereas the MCU is like, we purposely don't hire comic nerds. We don't want comic nerds making our movies. We don't want comic collectors writing our movies. And so, yeah, whatever, dude. So, like, Gunn is obviously the antithesis of that shit. And that's why I'm excited about the DCU, because I've felt ripped off by the MCU, to be honest. I feel fucking used. I feel exploited. I feel fucking totally bamboozled. And like, so I'm just happy that he's really, concerned with the writing and making it feel like DC Comics. He wants the DCU to feel like DC, the comic company, right? And that's what I'm down. He says, I think that I learned from my time at Marvel. When the Guardians of the Galaxy came out, people were like, well, how is this raccoon going to interact with this God of Thunder who's been set up in a totally different type of movie? And that was the thing people liked most about Avengers Infinity War. So it's about really letting the artist create these unique visions that allow us to get to know these characters in different ways. He said, I look forward to the time when these characters, one of them does show up pretty soon, two of them actually. So anyway, when they get to see them totally in a different light, in a totally different genre, and a film that isn't a big spectacle, action adventure, maybe something more dramatic, maybe something more comedic, whatever. And those characters in a slightly different light, portrayed by the same actors every time. Which it's like how comics, yeah, it's Batman every time, but
Yeah, different writer,
different
different
vibe, right?
penciler, different artist, different
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, and that's what he wants to do here. He wants to like have a whole thing of all the same actors are playing these characters in all these sort of different type of movies, but it's and people, I know people are gonna be like, oh, what the fuck? It's a fucking comic book. It's a comic book in live action.
Yep.
That's what I think the MCU should have always been. That's what I think comic films should be. I think they should be comics adapted into live action, just because that's why we want to see that. It's why we make movies out of books. We read something we love, we want to see it in live action. I want to see what that looks like in a movie. Wouldn't that be a dope movie? Like that's the whole point. So then when you just shit on all the comic stories and just, take all the characters from all across Marvel and just, take, tidbits from stories and shit writers have done throughout the whole decades and throw it into like one or two movies, and it's like you've wasted all these great stories. None of it feels like a comic book in any way. I can barely recognize some of this shit from the comics because a lot of it never happened, and that's why. But I should be able to recognize it. So now you know what Marvel's solution is to this is? It's not to start making the movies more like the comics. Guess what their solution is? It's to make the comics more like the movies. So now Marvel Comics are more like MCU movies. They've literally sent out a directive to their writers, and this has been like exposed, that their comics are to be fodder for potential film and movie adaptations.
Wow.
So yeah, everything they make has to be, every comic you get now from Marvel has to potentially be able to be in the MCU or at least be adapted. And a lot of it is written directly to be adapted. Feige actually forced the dude to do some shit with Kamala Khan because they were going to do it in the MCU. Like the writer was like, "Yeah, Feige fucking straight up told me to kill her and make her a mutant."
Yeah, and,
And
and
then
even with even with all of that,
horrendous.
these Hollywood has to stop. Just do like you did back in the day. Make the movie, put it out. Let's see what it does, and stop catering to the online crowd, the keyboard gangsters, the loud voices that echo throughout the web. Like, who cares what they think? Most of them won't go see the movie anyway, and the other half will stream it for free on their favorite web browsing streaming platform. So they're not going to sit in the theater and watching this. The hardcore fan is. So make your movie for those people and just keep it moving after that.
Exactly. And shout out to Mighty Rex. He said it's likely a rough cut with unfinished effects. And talking about the Superman movie, even if it isn't, like I said, they're showing it to casual people that may never ever want to buy a ticket to a Superman movie. So I don't really give a shit about their opinion, right? Like, why would I care about the opinion of someone who's not into this anyway? That's like, having my teenage girlfriend who hated Star Wars, like, have her go watch the movie and tell me what she thinks of it, and that's what I'm gonna go by. And that's what we're talking about here. So no, but DC Studios, the CEO, there seems to have a good handle, I think, on Superman as a character, right? And plus, when he's citing comics like All Star Superman as a main source of inspiration, the movie is unlikely to be as eccentric and weird as his, Peacemakers and Guardians and what do you call it? Hold on, I gotta think of the damn name now. Suicide Squad. Despite a few reports about negative internal screenings for Superman, the narrative has changed in recent weeks. Several insiders have shared the glowing feedback that they've heard from those lucky enough to have seen an early cut, meaning the DCU is likely off to a good start here. And as for what comes next, it's going to be very dope to see how these movies and TV shows link up, because again, everything is linked together by the same actors playing the same characters across movies, animation, shows, and video games. So these characters are gonna be who they are, and that's gonna be very interesting to see, like, how that comes around, like what that ends up being like, and how that feels. Now, the we had a little bit of cinema shown off recently of the at CinemaCon here of crypto, the some crypto the dog footage, um and yeah, so
And then you
that's
gotta remember too, Reno, that movie is also gonna be like, if I don't know if you ever watched, like, if like when I watched the Richard Donner version of the first
yeah,
Superman film,
yeah,
the pace is different. It plays different. It seemed like the theatrical version that they put out, because you got to remember when they put out those two versions, the one version is paced a certain way.
mm-hmm,
They cut out certain scenes to make the movie move along faster, and also to give you a sense of that it's moving forward. If
mm-hmm,
you watch the director's cut, it's not gonna have none of that. It's just gonna be everything they
yeah,
filmed mashed together, and blah, you're gonna get all of that. And it's a screen test basically to see how they react to certain things, and they can pace the film a little better. That's
yep,
just all it is. Yeah.
yeah,
So when we get our cut that we're gonna watch in the theater, the theatrical cut, that's gonna be a faster moving film. A lot of scenes are gonna be cut out because that's where you get deleted scenes from, and it's just gonna be a whole different monster.
yeah.
I would like to see that raw director's cut, but hopefully one day I'll be lucky enough to do so.
Well, the
But they're gonna
screener,
cut some stuff.
this movie that they screen now is a more complete cut than the previous screeners have been. This is something they showed to people that are not part of the studio. All the previous screenings of Superman have been internal, people that are part of the project in some way, shape, or form. This is the first screener that they've done with random people. So they're presenting this to people that could like potentially leak it, could talk about it, and all that shit. So they're showing them pretty much what they, want to show us. So it's not, but again, first of all, the reviews are not bad. They're not across the board. Oh, everyone hated it. It's just that some people didn't like it. And my thing is, for those people who just really didn't like it, most likely those are people who wouldn't have gone to see a Superman movie anyway. And therefore, I don't care if they like it or not. If someone that's a fan of Superman movies and shit like that, they see it, I would take their opinion uh a little bit more,
Serious.
I take a little more serious, but even then, I don't care what other people think about movies, bro. I don't, because there's so
That's
many
true.
movies that I love that people
That's
might
true.
not like or whatever, but it is what it is.
That's
Like,
true.
my favorite movie of all time is Gladiator and Goodfellas. Like, I don't, it's not. I'm not. I'm very. I have my own style. I like what I like. You know what I mean? It's not, and it don't have to be what you like. You know,
Which is the way it should be.
that's the way it should
That
be.
is exactly how it should be because everybody has to form their own opinion of it, man. Like when I watch Rotten Tomatoes, I've noticed normally if the critics like it, the audience usually hates it. If the audience likes it, the critics
Yeah.
hate it. It is very rare instance where they both give it a high ranking score. If you watch Rotten, and that Rotten Tomatoes proves it right there. Uh,
Yep.
it doesn't always matter what the critics say. Suicide Squad is a fan favorite. That movie has a cult following.
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
I thought it was okay. Is it one of the best movies I ever saw? Nah, but can I watch
Hmm.
it? Absolutely. Do I own it? 100%. But I don't hate it. Like some people hate it. They're like, oh man, this guy was trash. That's just your opinion. You didn't like it. It wasn't for you. It's just what it is.
Yeah. Hell no. Shit wasn't trash. But moving on to our with our DC live action section here. Let's see. We have the Constantine sequel 2. Constantine 2, it's real, it's official, it's definitely happening. We know the plot, we know the cast, the release date, and everything else. Constantine 2 is really finally a reality at Warner Brothers 2. At Warner Brothers. Constantine was fucking dope. I didn't had no idea like back I didn't know who Constantine was. Like I didn't know shit about Constantine when that movie came out, and like like 90s. Like I didn't know what Constantine was, and I became a fan of Constantine from that movie, which it's completely different from the comics. You know, it's a very different Constantine in the comics, but still a big fan. I'm a little bummed that they are doing the new Constantine just a sequel. I kind of wanted to see a reboot with a whole new blonde-haired Constantine looking person and have it be more like the comics with Constantine with his powers and all that shit. Not so lucky. It's going to be, you know, a sequel, which I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Constantine one was fucking dope. Keanu's dope.
Is it gonna be so? It's gonna be like the first movie, but just a new story.
Well, yeah, and yeah, it's a sequel to the first movie. Deadline first reported that Constantine would return with Keanu Reeves reprising the role from the 2005 cult classic. The article also said that Francis Lawrence, who directed the original film, is going to be back to direct the sequel. So like literally the same director and everything. Though the DCEU has seen several versions of the character over the past 20 years, none has hit the same spark that Keanu Reeves did in that first movie and really had any sort of success at all like that. And so it seems now DC wants to resurrect its, success again. And, that's just Hollywood for you. It's like they're doing, and I don't want to change the subject to Marvel or anything, and I'm going to keep this real short, but it's like they're doing with the X-Men, like the whole point I thought was to do the MCU X-Men, like a new X-Men, like fuck Fox. We're going to do the new MCU version of the X-Men. And they bring back all the fucking Fox X-Men? What the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't get it. But anyway, Constantine has been a fan favorite of the DCEU since, the last time he saved us from the Antichrist. So the movie created this new kind of world, which angels and demons were living right beside us and having some crazy nightclubs and shit in the meantime. And just, we didn't see them. And so it took these supernatural forces of good and evil and made them relatable, right? And so John Constantine's struggle wasn't being an exorcist only, it was exercising his own inner demons. And so that literal cancer was eating away at his lungs and his soul, and the devil and he took it out of him and fucking saved his life. And so hopefully, they pick up, man, and it picks up and we get some flashbacks or something. Keanu doesn't fucking age, so I like he still looks 10, so I don't know. He'll probably he'll probably play a little bit of an older version, of course, but there's a lot of comic book storylines to work from when we're looking at Constantine as a sequel that they could do. The official sequel storyline really hasn't been revealed yet, but Constantine usually appears in other stories rather than his own solo adventures, and that's really kind of because his job is kind of an on-call type of like profession where they're like, hey, we need the pizza guy to come deliver an exorcist, and so it only kind of works when they're needed. And so when a hero in like the DC universe is having some unfamiliar religious experience or trouble with a demon or whatever, Constantine shows up. So I'm hoping that this is going to be an Elseworlds. It's not as far as I know, as far as we hear, it's not a DCU movie in any way, shape, or form. It's like the Clayface horror movie. It's not part of the DCU, so it's an Elseworlds thing. I still want to see a DCU Constantine that shows up in other motherfuckers' movies, just like he does in the comics when he's needed. That would be sick. And we in the movie though we saw him. He was that would be sick, right? Like that's what's dope about. That's what I like about the Superman movie idea. The fact that there's all these other superheroes in it. People are like, oh, it's a Superman movie. Why do we need all these other characters? Because if you read a Superman comic, bro, there's other fucking characters there. So it's again goes back to being a live action comic book. Shia LaBeouf playing his right hand man Chaz dies on their quest to stop the Antichrist, man. And so Father Hennessy had been possessed to drink himself to death, and Beeman had been consumed by insects. So perhaps we'll see him on a quest for revenge, for killing his boys. That could be one plot. Alternatively, he might have learned a powerful lesson about investing positively in his own life and the lives of others. And so we might see him cautiously take Angela Dodson, played by Rachel Weisz in the movie, as his new student in the mythic arts, right? And she kind of maybe be the main hero, as they want to do. And so now that Keanu Reeves is a bit older, I think it might make sense to introduce a new protagonist if DC wants to make a franchise out of Constantine. Hopefully they don't. It's just going to be a one-off, cool movie in the Elseworlds, whatever. That's what I hope. Like, I don't want to see this really like become a thing, but I'm happy about a sequel. Definitely, I think that'll be cool as shit. As far as the cast right now, I think it's too early. Obviously, Keanu Reeves is there, which is again an interesting choice because over the years there have been several other actors who've played the role. Francis Lawrence will be directing, and the pairing of the old star and the old director could see a bit of that Hollywood magic restored in what we saw in the original. And so since then, Lawrence has had a prominent career directing I Am Legend, Water for Elephants, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire. This is all his style. So, and Akiva Goldsman is set to write the screenplay, and he worked with Lawrence on I Am Legend. He's written some impressive films like Cinderella Man, Da Vinci Code, A Beautiful Mind, like real top-notch shit. So Constantine has a good foundation. This is not going to be no ass bullshit little movie. This is like a straight up real deal Keanu Reeves movie. So after years and years of fans wondering, what was happening, if this sequel was going to happen, it's official. Directors gave the audience something to get excited about when he sat down for an interview with Entertainment Weekly in February, and he revealed that Constantine 2 was actively in development. And so he said, we just started cooking up some ideas. I will say that we are closer than ever to a Constantine sequel, that there is an idea that Keanu and Akiva and I all really love, that is actively being developed now. And so he also expressed, how the writer strikes in obtaining the rights to Constantine and his fellow DC characters held up the development originally. And so they would have been already working on it. So it's definitely going down. And he said, of the hurdles that they've been seeing, he said, we've always gotten held up because they go, no, we have Constantine. We want to do something with Constantine. You guys can't do Constantine. And finally, I think is right before the strikes, we got everybody to say, okay, you can go. And I think the reason that happened was because James Gunn took over DC, and he's like, I'm not doing a Constantine thing for the DCU. And if you want to do Constantine, go ahead. We have Elseworlds. Go ahead. So if you're happy about it, there you go.
That sounds like
And yeah, and the first movie, he said the this is kind of what, I don't know. This is one of the things I'm happy about, actually. So the original movie was um he wants to make an R-rated sequel after the studio fought fiercely to make the original one a PG-13. So but it got an R rating, and they were all upset. And at the time, and the director said, he said, had I known we were getting an R, I would have actually made an R-rated version of Constantine, which could have been more intense, could have had some scarier bits. He was so you gotta remember, Constantine, he was trying to make a PG-13 movie, and it got an R rating. That sucks, because if you're gonna make an R-rated movie, if it's gonna be R-rated, shit, let's go all out.
go all out. Yep, go all out. Do what we got to do.
This is a good thing. He says, quite honestly, we came out of the first movie loving the process, not loving the fact that we got an R, but we thought if we were going to get an R, let's embrace that. Let's do the R-rated, scarier version of a Constantine sequel. So this is going to be good. No official release date yet. Project still in early stages of development. But yeah, fans of the original flick can fall in love with the character and supernatural hit all over again by renting or buying the old school joint on Apple TV, Prime Video, all that good stuff. Yeah, man.
which is
Bond
great.
indeed.
We'll
Good
take it.
shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll take it. With that, I got to break out, but we'll
I feel
take it.
you, bro. I feel you, dog. I feel you. Also, the direction of the film is raw. Hope it's better than the new Hellboy movie. Oh, you didn't like the new Hellboy movie? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, no,
No?
no,
Is
no,
it's not more like the comics?
no,
No? Oh man, fuck
no.
that. I thought that was the whole
You know what it is. You know what it is. Okay, it is, but the acting is just terrible. Um,
damn.
the acting kills it. Like I could get with the story and the setting and all that, but the acting kills it. The guy that plays Hellboy, no. His little sidekick girlfriend, no. They're horrible actors.
I like the actor that plays Hellboy. I like that actor.
Bro. It
He didn't do
just he
good.
needs
He
some
didn't
act.
do good.
Nah, he needs some acting lessons, man. He did
What?
okay.
He's a really
Listen,
good actor, bro. He's been in a lot of shit.
listen, man. Which I know, but him playing Hellboy, you know what? It was him playing Hellboy was like George Clooney playing Batman. Like
Damn.
that's how it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you can watch it, but it's just something missing, or something that's just
Mhm.
not quite there when you watch it.
Mm.
I watched it twice, just thinking maybe the first time I just wasn't into it. Like I was like, yeah, I wasn't into. Watched it the second time, I was like, oh man, like this. It's more. It's like George Clooney playing Batman.
Yeah.
That's the best I can describe. But is it worth a watch? Of course. You might like it. I, for one, didn't like it. I can't even say I didn't like it. I just couldn't get with it, man. Story was good, decent, but the acting and just the actors, they just I don't know. It felt like they took those actors and put them in that movie. But whoever did the casting could have did a better job.
Damn.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
man,
feel
it
you.
was.
I thought I think the whole well, I just watched this really great Mignola documentary. So guys, if you haven't seen Mike Mignola documentary, you need to fucking check that shit out. Mike Mignola is the guy that created Hellboy, right? He's the artist that created Hellboy. The story behind it is crazy. It's a really dope documentary. Absolutely like a must-see joint. But speaking of must-see joints, dude, don't go anywhere, man. I got to show you something right quick before you bust out, and you are not gonna regret it, my guy. Check this out. B. Shit. I've been waiting for this. Legion of motherfucking doom, boy. The Legion is here.
Mm,
The Legion is here. The Legion in
I need
the.
those.
So there they are in all
Yeah, I
their
need
glory.
those.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be really cool.
And
You
those are
got
6 inch, right?
these are 6-inch joints. Let's see. New
Yeah, I
figures for
definitely
Super
need
Friends
those.
are coming in hot, rocking the 6-inch scale seen in McFarlane retro releases. An extension of the Batman 66 style figures. Super Friends will show off both heroes and villains in their iconic TV show looks, all looking great. Personally, I'm a super hyped for that Lex Luthor. That's what me and Stu was just saying. I really want that Lex Luthor, man, because we don't have a Lex Luthor like that.
No,
We
no.
don't have one.
The Lex Luthor they
Um,
put out was just a big miss for McFarlane Toys. But that Lex Luthor,
yeah.
yeah, you got me.
And this is like these figures, the only thing, like, I mean, they're not super like they're not like Marvel Legends or classified or any like new line or anything the other 6-inch lines. And a big part of that you can see right there in the hips, those hips, those thighs, the way that these thigh joints. Yeah, that's not
Those are 80 thigh joints. Those
1980s joints.
yeah, those are
Yeah,
80 joints. Yeah,
yeah.
those are
But
80 thigh joints.
at least they have knees, elbows, and shoulder joints. Though they do have that. That's cool. I like the Batman sculpture. I love just the OG style of it all, man. Because again, if you're into the whole nostalgia thing, like I am, uh, this is definitely like making you hyped as fuck. Look at Sinestro, fucking dope. Can't wait for these. Even the Green Lantern looks phenomenal. The Hal Jordan there. But this isn't all of them either. There's other ones.
Yeah, I'm getting them all.
Got to.
I'm gonna get. Yeah, I'm gonna
Got
get
to.
them all.
Yeah, and this
It was
shit
awful.
pisses me off. These I wanted all three of these really badly, and they all sold out right away. They never had it. We never had a shot. Never had a shot. Never had a friggin'
Yeah.
shot.
So we either gotta wait for a restock or we just gotta wait for the scalpers to come down on their price.
Look at this pre-sold out. What the fuck? How? First of all, how? It's a pre-order. So you wait to see how many people pre-order, then you make the toys. Like I don't get how a pre-order sells out. I really don't. I'm still baffled by that whole thing. But man, that would have just. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna have to go to Scalper Island for these. Man, these are too sick. Fuck.
I know they are, but you got. I
It
mean, if you
hurts.
want it bad enough, you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go. You gotta take a trip.
You are, bro. Well, they've made a wow. They made a bunch of Two Faces. They got the Tommy Lee Jones Two Face. They got what do you call it? Well, this one's actually dope. That was pretty dope right there. I like that. I'd take
Yeah,
that. But that
that one
shit's
coming out.
and I don't need the $80 platinum version. Like, where's the regular version? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This isn't it though. Where's the new one? Here it is. $50 they want. Jesus Christ. Insane. Insane. There's only two of them up here. Wow. There's only two of them up there.
For now,
For now.
they'll yeah, they'll pop up. They're gonna pop
Yeah.
up more and more.
But anyway, I'm not going to shop on y'all, right? I'll
Don't
just
do
stop
it,
the
man.
show and start shopping and shit. Hold on, y'all. I'm shopping.
Yeah.
But nah, staying with the DC vibe, man. We got those are the DC toys. That was the DC live action, and there are some great DC comics shits going down. We got some graphic novels coming out, some new Jim Lee action. We got the Absolute Batman Bane comic coming out. That's all good stuff. Oh, James Gunn shares a new look at Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, All Star. Woman of Tomorrow. So yeah, it's just a little. Oh, that's nothing.
I seen that. I
It's a
seen that
picture of
earlier.
Millie Alcock on Twitter. Um,
Mm.
man, I'm super excited about this. This new Star Wars joint, Tales of the Underworld. So you guys remember Tales of the Empire? They had Tales of the Jedi first, which was dope. Then they had Tales of the Empire, which was just trash. And now there is a new one called Tales of the Underworld with Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. And we got the trailer, we got all that good stuff, the poster, all that good stuff. But the popular series, which began in 2022 with the Tales of the Jedi, continued with Tales of the Empire. It's that same series of that 3D graphic animated, Star Wars lore joints. And this one is about the former assassin and bounty hunter Asajj Ventress given a new chance at life. Now, it's not a prequel like Tales of the Jedi. It's more of like a continuation, something like what's going on now. And so she's got to go on the run with an unexpected new ally while the outlaw Cad Bane faces his past when he confronts an old friend who's now a marshal, on the opposite side of the law. They used to be gunslingers together. Now this dude's a cop, and they gotta suss it out. So Book of Boba Fett wrapped up Cad Bane's story, but there still has gaps in his past worth exploring. And for Asajj Ventress, she was the Padawan who turned assassin and was trained by the dark side by Count Dooku. And for several years, she yearned to be considered a true Sith, secretly acting as Dooku's apprentice. We first encountered her in the Clone Wars, obviously fighting the Separatists. She used the bald head with the two purple lightsabers, and she was clashing with like Obi-Wan and Anakin with their twin sabers, red sabers. And so when Dooku was ordered to dispose of her and left her for dead, she returned to her Night Sister clan, which is where she actually came from, to exact her revenge. So she's really a dope character. Like, Asajj Ventress is a very underused character. I can't wait to see this. She reinvented herself in time as a bounty hunter and reclaimed her identity, not as a Sith or a Jedi, but becoming an unlikely ally to Ahsoka for a little while. And so she also returned in the Bad Batch movie. We'd seen her, and so I read her also I read a book about her and Count Dooku that is really dope. So big fan of Asajj Ventress. Dave Filoni created that whole character and all that series, and he is the supervising director of this. He's doing it as well. He's executive producer, and say what you will about him, he does the animation Star Wars. He invented Clone Wars. He did all that shit. Rebels, all that shit. That's his bag. That's his world. He did this. So you got the voice cast, everybody's fire people. Tales of the Underworld is the name of it. And I can sneak y'all a little peek right quick because this shit is beast. Before we wrap it, man, because I know Stu's got to bounce out. There we go. Opens up with some planetary, what do you call it? Desolate dystopianness.
Lady Ventress.
And there she is. She's got hair finally. She's always been bald and everything. May 4th it drops. And off my boy steps Bad Kane, aka Cad Bane. But no, this dude is peak. One of my favorite Star Wars characters after he came out. I was like, yo, that dude is just what the fuck I'm talking about.
What's the situation?
Woo! If you're wondering why it's silent, obviously it's copyright. But the plot's crazy. The characters are crazy. I can't wait to see this shit. Bounty hunters, underworld. It's everything we love about Star Wars in a format that has proven to be super dope. Tales of the Jedi was phenomenal. Tales of the Sith would have been, or Tales of the Empire could have been good, but it was just
worth it. It will be.
Yes, sir. Original shorts available May 4th. Stu, I don't know if you actually if you were able to see that, but we're gonna love that joint. For sure. Normally we would have done our Daredevil review, but I didn't have time to watch it. I'll keep it a buck, and I'm not gonna review something I ain't seen. But I'm getting ready to go watch Daredevil right now. Munch on some dinner, and we'll see you guys Saturday, guys. Don't forget to come to subscribe, to like, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys Saturday. We're gonna be here same time, 7 p.m. every Saturday night. Things are changing with the channel in good ways, big ways. Excellent shit's happening. Might just be doing the live show once on Saturday with a couple of pre-recorded shows during the week that me and Stu might lay down on the weekend. It's just getting a little bit hard to get in on time, to start a show at 7 when I get off work at 5. It's crazy. So But anyway, y'all, man, have a good night, have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys Saturday. Stu Dog, be safe tonight, man. Peace.